Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we're going to have Richie. Richie is from England in the UK. So let's see what Richie has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, hello, Rich. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. Now we're sorting out with technical difficulties.
It's okay. So, how's your day been so far?
Good. I've just been at the computer all day, to be honest, sorting out boring admin stuff because it's a bit bleak here. So it's a day to stay inside, nothing too adventurous.
Amazing. Rich, tell me where you're from.
So I'm originally from the Midlands in the UK, and I grew up just outside Birmingham.
Okay. And I believe you are living in Lisbon right now.
Yeah, so I divide my time between Lisbon and London. We applied for residency over there, and we're just looking for a place now. So we're moving around, trying to find what area we want to be in. So we're looking for an old farm to renovate.
Amazing. So yeah. I believe you've been between Portugal and London because of your boyfriend, Brazilian boyfriend.
Yeah, so there's actually three of us. So there's got my British husband and I are making the move to Portugal, and our partner lives in London. So we're kind of all over the place at the moment, and we all do similar things and share time together wherever we can. So lots of moving around, but yeah, it's great.
Richie, tell me what do you do for work, for living?
So by trade, I'm a psychologist, and I work in the field of trauma and stress. However, life events took me in a slightly different direction. So I'm also a teacher of tantric practices, yoga, meditation, and things like that. And I combine all of that work now and operate in a bit more of a metaphysical way than I've done previously.
Amazing. And why the change? When you realized that for you, you would follow this different career in your life?
So to keep a very big story as short as I can, 5 years ago, I was diagnosed with stomach cancer and given 5 weeks to live as a diagnosis, unfortunately. And obviously that's quite a shock to anybody's system. And yeah, it was a bit of a challenge. Unfortunately, I did get quite sick. At the point I was taken into hospital, they said I had less than a week to go, and I was put on palliative care. The upshot, I suppose, is that actually I had a near-death experience while I was in an MRI scanner, and I went to a different plane, if you like, a different dimension, which I describe as the source energy, if you like. Some people would call that God, heaven, whatever. And obviously that changed my perspective massively. And I was given this perspective of seeing myself, this world, this dimension, if you like, and how it was all divided and fragmented, and in an instant of understanding everything. And I have to say, it's very hard to articulate because there's not many words to describe such a thing other than near-death experience. But it was absolutely nothing but pure, brilliant, white light energy, but this overwhelming sense of pure love and perfection. But there was nothing there, but it seemed to feel like it contained everything, and every sort of question and curiosity I had ever had was sort of answered in an instant. So I was blessed with this perspective of how everything kind of works, I guess. And in a flash, I was back, and I was actually in an MRI scanner at the time. And I was brought out the MRI scanner, and I was like, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. I'm and the doctors are like, okay, whatever. But I started to get well, and I started to get better, and we were able to, the palliative care actually started to work on the cancer. I mean, I was doing a few little supportive things as well. But I started to get better quite quickly. I did spend 6 months in hospital receiving chemo, but at the end of that year, I got a complete cure, and there was no sign of any cancer. And I was discharged from the hospital. Unfortunately, I was paralyzed in the process, and was reliant on a wheelchair. But over time, after I got out of hospital, I learned to walk again, and that's where I took yoga quite seriously. And I thought, right, if I'm going to get well, I need to repair my body. I need to entertain my mind, because I'm a very mindful person. And I decided that I would become a yoga teacher, because I would have to learn, study, and practice. And so I put myself on a teacher training. And I've been doing yoga for over a decade, so I was familiar with it. I knew it was the thing, but I thought I'll take it one step further. So in that, I became a yoga teacher. So from illness, terminal diagnosis, to surviving that, to learning to walk again, to becoming a yoga teacher, I've got such a broad perspective that it's completely changed the way not only I live, but the way that I do all my work as well, because there's so much more that we don't understand or can't see. And I've been blessed with this experience, and that's kind of what I share through my work now. And I can't just be the static therapist anymore. There's so much more, and I work a lot with energy and understanding how we as human beings are infinitely more complex than we can even comprehend. So.
Wow. My goodness. Thank you so much for sharing this beautiful experience.
No,
oh my goodness. I think I got goosebumps now. I think it's it's so interesting, as you say, to know that there is a superpower out there. You can call God, you can call universe, you can call anything, but there is something there more than we can even understand, that we can even, explain somehow, but there is
without a doubt.
If you believe it, if you if you have faith, or whatever you can call, there is something there is something there that maybe we're never going to understand, or maybe never going to be explained, but it's going to be there always. That's what the fascination, you know what I mean? Even though we don't see it, maybe sometimes we feel it, but we don't, but it's there. And that's what makes life interesting as well. So thank you. Amazing. I'm glad you shared that. I'm glad.
Thank you.
Right, Richie, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend. Full of fun questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay, sure.
Let's do it. Okay, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Yep.
Right, first question for you is, which talent do you wish you had?
Oh, which talent? I'd love to be able to sing, actually. Yeah. Well, sing well. That's the key. I think we can all sing, but can we sing well? So yeah, I'd love to be able to belt out a good tune. Absolutely, yeah. I think it's a wonderful tool to have, and talent.
When you think about singing and artists, who are like your inspiration in music?
I've got very eclectic taste, actually, but I'm not. I wouldn't claim to be a music buffin by any. I recognise music, but I'm not so good with the names or labels of. But certainly, I can listen to classical music. I can listen to alternative. The only thing I don't really grind with is the heavy metal and the screaming, because it's just it's just an assault on my ears. But no, if it resonates and I like the tune and I like the voice, then absolutely, I think it's there's healing and there's beauty in music. I think it's a wonderful thing. Again, it's energy and frequency, isn't it? So yeah, but there's far too much of a range to pin it down, I would say.
Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Richie, next question is, if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
I'd go to Thailand to sit on the beach and watch the sunset, because I think it is, as a country, is just so beautiful, and the energy there, and it's absolutely divine, and the people. I think I've been there quite a few times, and it's always so welcoming, and most of the time pretty good weather too, which is really important.
Tell me something interesting or funny that happened to you one of your trips to Thailand, something that you're never gonna forget.
Oh, well, I used to go there to do a detox a lot, and I used to go and fast for 10 days, and we'd have like 2 colonics a day, massage, meditation, yoga, which all sounds quite extreme, but actually was the highlight of my year, because when you go into that sort of detox and fasting, it's incredible to discover that actually you can go without food. That actually you can just live on that energy and to be in that environment. It's not without its challenges, but yeah, it's I wouldn't say it was funny, but it's certainly an extreme, because I've been absolutely, twatted at a full moon party, but I've also spent 10 days detoxing from all of that as well. So yeah, it's definitely a place you could go from one extreme to the other. Yeah.
Good. Next one. Before the next one, tell me what you like the most about being a yoga instructor, a yoga teacher. What's the best part of it?
Watching the transformation people go through, whether that's somebody taking the whole yogic journey and transforming their whole life, or just somebody that comes into a class or experience. I don't teach classes anymore. I do retreats and things, so I get to spend the day with people. But even people that haven't done yoga before, just to see how they transform when they connect with their own body and they find some space where they can actually completely just down tools, relax and shut off from the world, is an honor and a privilege, to be honest.
See, all right. Next question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Oh, I'm gonna have to say my husband, because he was the one that, trying not to get emotional now, nursed me through my illness, and I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for him. And he's without a doubt, he's had to do things for me that you never hope anybody has to do for you, and for him to go through that experience and literally to be by my side at every step of the way, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, my rock.
It makes a difference, doesn't it? Knowing that somebody's there by your side, someone who you love.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a complete blessing. Yeah. I don't think I could do it the other way around. I don't think I could have been him watching, me. Yeah, I think it's phenomenal what he was able to do.
How long your paths have crossed?
We've been together 13 years.
13 years. What's the biggest difference between you both, and the biggest similarity?
Oh, good question. In many ways, we're quite polar opposites, to be honest. He's an artist. He's very creative, and he's very visual. So he works with metal sculpture and things like that. Wow. Whereas I'm completely not. I'm very kinesthetic. So I'm very much about the meditation, the esoteric sort of practices, and how things feel. And when we're designing something together or changing a room around, and he'll be like, doesn't this look great? And I'll be like, no, it feels wrong. And we're just but it complements. We're like, we have this beautiful balance. So opposites are complementary, should we say. but we're both from the same area. We're both very grounded, and we have a beautiful balance between the two of us.
Wow. Who fell in love first?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I could tell you he proposed first.
Oh, sweet.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Next one. Let's do it. Hey, Richie from England. Next question is, describe yourself in one positive word and one negative word only.
Oh, optimistic. And controlling.
Are you a Scorpio or star sign?
No, close. I'm a Cancer.
Okay, because I'm a Scorpio, and no, the negative about Scorpio is about controlling. We want to know what's happening.
Yeah, still water sign. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Saying that, Richie, what is the best part of being yourself when you think about, yourself, you being you?
It's going to sound a bit cliche, but being alive, because having gone to such an extreme, to have that experience actually, and I can tell anybody out there, and the nature of death and that process is actually quite beautiful. It's not something many people get to experience, but I can tell you, it's not an end by any means. It's a new beginning in a different place, and to have experienced that, and to be able to work with clients with such an extensive experience of that when they're going through similar situations is an absolute privilege, to be honest.
I'm gonna ask a tough question to you right now. Do you think actually do you think that this event in your life is meant to happen?
Oh yes, yeah, because it made me address all the things that I was ignoring. If you like, it was the big slap around the face that was like, poof, what are you going to do now? And I looked and I thought, because I work in personal development, and I was teaching this stuff, I was helping people, but there was a huge element of stuff that I wasn't looking at myself. I was still carrying shame, guilt, anger around my sexuality, for example, my relationship with my father, and I was suppressing all of this. I'd got in my head that I was what I would call an overachiever, and I wouldn't stop, and it was go, 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 go. I was very good at doing. I'm still very good at doing, but I hadn't learned how to be. And that was the slap around the face from the universe to go, look at all of this and sort it out, otherwise you're going. And it really brought that to a front. So yeah, absolutely, it was part of the journey. And I think with the work that I do now, and seeing how it's beyond even my comprehension still, I definitely think it was meant to be.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ready for another one?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do it. Next question is, what's the best advice have you ever received?
Oh, surrender. And that's not about waving a white flag and giving up. That's surrendering to your circumstance, surrendering to the moment, understanding that actually there are things that we can't change and affect, and we waste a lot of time and energy trying, again, from experience, being a controlling person, trying to control and make things happen the way that I want them to happen. But actually, if you're able to just go, okay, I surrender to this, what do I need to do? And you just deal with it as it comes up, rather than resisting and fighting it. And I think there is a wonderful power in surrender, and being fortunate enough to have mentors, guides, coaches myself. And that was definitely a huge turning point for me, was to learn to let go and surrender. And because if it's meant to be, it will happen. If it's meant for you, it will come to you. And when you can just surrender to that, then life becomes quite a lot more pleasurable than fighting and resisting, I can tell you.
I totally agree. I think if something meant to be for you, it will find a way to get to you somehow. It might take time. It might take, some time, but it will. If it's for you, if meant to be for you, it will find a way, and you're gonna understand. Tell me something. Of course, working with energy, being a personal coach, you work with a lot of energy. Yeah, a lot of you exchange energy with people. For you, what do you do? For example, you dealing with positive and negative energy as well. It's part of the process. Yeah. How do you find, or how do you do not to get some, let's say, negative energy from others to your personal life? There is a way for you to kind of block yourself through that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And anyone can do this. It's the magic bubble. I literally imagine that I put this energetic bubble around me that helps me to protect myself, so that anybody flinging any crap at me, it's going to bounce right off, but it's clear enough for me to still see through, to still feel. And I just did that in mind, literally imaginary bubble, just to put this layer of protection around. But an important thing about this positive and negative, they are two sides of the same thing. We think that they're these opposites, and that positive and negative represent good and bad, but there's only one energy, and there's just different qualities to that. But positive and negative are back to back. They're the same thing, just different polarities. That's all. They're not as we in this duality have learned to be. But yeah, you definitely, as a sensitive person, I can pick up other people's stuff. I'm what's commonly known as an empath. So a lot of what I'm able to do now is tuning into people's energy and being able to interpret that energy, but it also means feeling their pain. I can sit next to somebody with depression, and if I haven't protected myself, I will feel depressed. But that is also the superpower, because when I work with somebody, I can feel what they're feeling and understand what it is, even if they don't. And that's kind of why people come to me, really. So yeah, it's important, actually, anybody, if you're walking into a hospital or a crowd, just imagine that little bubble. When you get in your car or go on the tube, just put yourself in the bubble, that little imaginary bubble, and see how you feel. Definitely.
It's funny, in the beginning when you said, okay, I just do my magic bubble, I thought you said a magic box.
No, it could be a magic box. You can have a bubble or a box. It's your call, baby.
I have my bubble here, okay, protecting.
Yeah, that's it.
Next one. Next question is, this one is going to be very, very easy. Do you consider yourself to be a spiritual person, and how?
Oh, yes, very, very much so. And not in a religious sense by any means. I think there is a bit of sense in each religion, but it's not used in a productive way. However, having experienced what I call going back to source and that energy, and I think the way I would describe it to anybody, and don't get me wrong, I come from a scientific background. It's not something I've always been sort of accustomed to, but there, as you put quite eloquently, there is an undeniable energy that works through us, that makes the seed turn into the plants, that everything works with this invisible energy through it. And you can call that spirit, and that is seeing spirituality, and I don't mean ghosts and things and that sort of spirit, but genuinely it's a spiritual energy. And being spiritual, I think, is seeing that in everything. It's spiritualizing life and seeing that magic, seeing that energy, or what the energy does, and seeing that transformation is my spirituality. Because when you tap into that and you see that infinite power, and it's so much more than we are, and I think that gives you hope and faith that things that are always they are always working out for the better. Yeah, we have shit to deal with, but it's always working out for the greater good, because that is what a sustainable universe does. Even the death and destruction is part of that sustainability and that cycle of life, should you call it. And I think that is what spirituality is to me.
Yeah, it's very personal, isn't it? Being spiritual is something very personal about yourself. It's how you connect with the world, or how you connect with yourself.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next one, let's do it. Tell me a little bit about your tattoos. I can see your tattoo here in your neck. Very interesting. I haven't seen something like that before. What's the meaning?
Yeah, this is the Sanskrit symbol for breath. So that's why I had here on my throat. This is obviously representation of meditation and these symbols, the universal symbols. I've got quite a few. These are my birds and the sun, which represent, obviously the sun speaks for itself, but the birds are my representation of freedom, because I think birds are the epitome of freedom. And so that's kind of, that's what that says. But there's a few more. This is my motto that got me through everything, which is, this too shall pass, because this body shall pass, this moment shall pass, whatever you're faced with shall pass. And when I was in hospital at those extreme points, it was always, this too shall pass, this too shall pass. So it became a tattoo here to the collection. But yeah, I've got, there's many. I've got Sanskrit here, I've got science. So this is science and spirituality, because I believe they're actually the same thing. They're just different languages for describing the same thing. So they all tell a story, and they're very special to me.
Tell me about your career when you're a psychologist. Tell me what was the biggest joy of it? What do you enjoy the most about being a psychologist?
Well, to be honest, as most of us are, it was my pursuit for understanding myself and my own trauma. And I think that's how I got into the traumatology side of things, was understanding what happened to me and how I messed myself up and why I was doing the things that not necessarily healthy things. I've been to the extreme. I've had problems with drink and drugs in the past. I've overcome all of that. And psychology was about me understanding myself, but through understanding other people, that helped me understand myself. So that was transformational. But equally, it was not quite enough. I knew there was still something a bit more, and I started to gradually branch away from conventional psychology. You know, I never wanted to work in research or the labs or anything like that. I wanted to be more on the therapy side and helping people in creating change. So I went down more as a psychotherapeutic route for that reason. But to understand your mind and how we function, it's like somebody giving you a user manual. You know, you can spend, how long do we spend? We buy some new gadget and we straight in the box, and then we're like, oh, this isn't working. We're faffing around with it. And you're like, why don't you read the instructions? And I think this is what the study of psychology was for me. It was like having this user manual all of a sudden. And it was like, oh, wow, so we do this because of this, and this connects to this. And it was transformational for me. And I know it is for other people in many forms. And I came away from the conventional and discovered what we call energy psychology, which is a fringe science in itself, really. But I was fortunate enough to train with a psychologist in America who was able to use the body's innate energy system as a healing tool for psychological reasons, to see that trauma, depression, etc., were all forms of energy in themselves, and how we can move the body. You know, there are massage therapists that can release emotional blockages and things like this. So it started to expand from there. So this is how I know I was already on this path, to be honest. And I couldn't fit into I've never been able to fit into any box really, any of my life. But yeah, it exploded and went in many different directions. But yeah, my background, and I'm grateful for that experience. Definitely, but not a world I quite fit into anymore.
All right. Oh, tough question for you now. How do you think you'll die, or how would you like to die if you could choose?
Wow. Definitely just let me go in my sleep. But I don't have any fear of it anymore because it's a beautiful process. It's yes, we're leaving stuff behind on this on this plane, if you like, but where you're going to um, is beyond description, really. But I can tell you, I struggled for quite a while when I did after surviving to want to be here because I'd had such a profound experience. It was like here was painful and full of all sorts of, where you've only got to look out the window or watch the news, it took a while to sort of adjust to being here, really. But I wouldn't wish any trauma or anything like that because I think I've had enough pain. But yeah, I'd passed in my sleep, and one of the things actually bizarrely that kept me on track was I had two psychics at different times in my life told me that, oh, you're going to die from old age. And I remember being in the hospital and they're going, oh, you haven't got long. And I was thinking, no, I've been told I'm going in old age. So I still hold that dearly, that actually it'll be a nice passing in my old age and hopefully no distress for me or anybody else.
Amazing. 3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Next question is, what keeps you up at night?
My husband and my partner. Our partner.
I'm not gonna ask who doing what, okay?
Talking. We sit up all night and talk, of course.
Tell me how the idea of a 3-way relationship came along, and how is to maintain a 3-way relationship in your opinion, in your case?
Well, even surprisingly to ourselves, it wasn't something we were seeking by any means. It was a case of meeting somebody amazing and falling in love again and introducing, my partner, my husband having the same experience, and then our partner having a similar experience with us. And it has been the most natural thing. And whilst people go, oh, it must be complicated, it really doesn't feel that way. I mean, I'm not saying there's not challenges at times. Practically it can be, of course, challenging. But for us, it was just a multiplication of love. So from 2 people loving each other to 3 people loving each other. And, what's better than more love? That's the point. We don't have the elements of possession or jealousy that operating in any dynamic of the relationship. So that's never been a thing. And for me, to love another doesn't take away the love I have for somebody else. You think about family, and sisters, and we have nieces, nephews, and the family gets bigger and bigger. It's like you don't love any less. It's a multiplication of love. It's not like, oh, well, now you've got 2 children, I can only divide the love between the 2. It's like you love them equally, or so for us, it just went from 2 people loving each other and being secure in that to 3 people loving each other and being secure in that. So yeah, it's beautiful, and again, I'm very, very blessed in that situation.
And what's the biggest challenge of having a 3-way relationship, in your opinion?
Oh, the diary. The diary, because we're living between two countries, 3 homes, and so sometimes it can be like, where are you going to be? Where are we going to be? And we can cross them, but again, it works. If I have work to do, I'll go off in this direction, and then Obi will go and do his work, and then but when we come together, it's even more meaningful. So yeah, it's I'd say the diary. We have to have we have a shared calendar. We have to put in where we're going to be and what we're going to do, so that we can actually. Otherwise, we'd just be like ships in the night.
Amazing. 2 questions left. Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me so far, what do you like the most about living in Lisbon?
Sunshine. without a doubt. It was the main motivation for the move really was after being sick. I was like, I can't do winter anymore. I consider myself quite a country boy. I've grown up with horses and animals and things, so I've never been soft to the weather. But after being sick, I was like, oh, I deserve sunshine all the time. But don't get me wrong, Lisbon's not sunny all the time. They do have a bit of rain in the winter and so forth. But it's a beautiful place to be, and it's the culture as well. I think is so diverse, and it's a nice place to be in the world, definitely.
How long have you been since you've been discharged from the hospital through that challenge moment in your life?
So I left hospital at the end of 2018. So I was out. Yeah, I got the all clear in December 2018. I was diagnosed in the previous March, and then I spent a year to 18 months learning to walk again, and then rebuilding my body. So we're at 5 years since diagnosis at this stage.
Okay. Next question is, who makes you laugh the most?
Victoria Wood, you know, the comedian. You know her? Yeah. Victoria Wood. She's a British comedian, and absolutely adore her. She's unfortunately no longer with us. Anybody who knows her name will know of her comedy, of Acorn Antiques, the characters. And when I was in hospital, it was, you know, one of the things, and I still put it on now. If we want to laugh, straight to YouTube, Victoria Wood. I used to have, you know, friends would come and stay with me in the hospital, and we'd watch Victoria Wood sketches, and we do the one-liners, and still is absolutely hilarious to this day. So yeah, Victoria Wood, without a doubt.
Amazing. Ready for the last question?
Yeah, hit me up.
Last question. But before the last question, Richie, let's see if somebody right now is watching the interview. Maybe they're facing, you know, a challenge moment regarding cancer that you had 5 years ago. Yeah. Something connected. They're in the hospital. Maybe they are trying to pick themselves up, but it has been difficult. Or, you know, they are facing a challenge moment right now. What would be your best piece of advice for those people?
Stay as positive as you can. But just remember, there's always another way. You may not have found that way right now, but there is always somebody somewhere has done it differently, and it's been successful. And if you can keep the attitude of hope, really, is what I'm saying, you can stay hopeful, and you can keep looking for solutions, looking for answers, looking to other people that have done things differently, then I think you're focused on a solution. It's very easy. Our whole medical teams are based on what's wrong, what's the disease, what's the diagnosis, and we don't look so much at the healing side of things. And if we can get into a mindset of hope and possibility, you know, possibility is a greater place to be than any other. So staying with possibility and hope will make such a difference to keeping that vibration up for healing. You know, that's what's important. Raise that vibration, put on the funny film, laugh, joke, don't be serious, don't go down there. Yeah, you have to acknowledge that life is hard and this is happening, but come straight back to it. What makes you laugh? What turns you on? What tickles your fancy? What will make you belly laugh? Go there, because that's healing in itself. You know, be with the people that you love. I went to the extreme. I even changed the hospital room. We changed the duvet. I put pictures up and everything. I was like, this is going to be a healing space. It's going to be, you know, creating that environment. So yeah, hope and possibility. Get on that frequency however you need to.
Wow, amazing. Last question for you is, what's your idea of a perfect friendship?
Honesty and connection, without a doubt, and a bit of humor in there as well. If you can laugh, and if you can be honest with each other, and you can stay connected with somebody, and by connected I mean present with somebody. You know, we've all got these friends we air kiss and wave to and say hello. You know, there's no depth to it, but if you've got that connection with somebody, you know, 3 quality friends is much better than 30 superficial friends. So to have the connection with somebody and investing in that, you know, and laughing from the honesty, you know, to tell each other when you're out of line, or to tell it as it is. You know, my my friends were very honest with me, and very humorous. I mean, one of them particularly was like, came to the hospital. He was like, "Oh God, have I got to get a black dress and a black hat out?" And we just laughed, and it was fantastic. We didn't have any airs and graces, so definitely a good, genuine connection based on honesty and humor.
Amazing. Okay, not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words, just some one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game.
Okay.
Let's start with family.
Love.
Money.
Power.
One word for love.
Say again, sorry?
Love.
One word for love. Infinite.
Life.
Amazing.
Sex.
Hot.
Ooh. Politics.
Corruption.
Religion.
Controlling.
Friendship.
Important.
Fear.
Not real.
Desire.
Exciting.
I like it. Excited. Regret.
Have none.
Success.
Is whatever you choose it to be.
Wish.
Wish often.
Happiness.
Transformative.
One word for England.
Am I allowed to swear? Struggling.
Okay. One word for Lisbon.
Sunny.
One word for psychologist.
Understanding.
And the last one now, yoga teacher, one word.
A privilege.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your husband and your partner for a coffee, and I'm gonna ask them, tell me, what do you think is the most beautiful thing about Richie, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on, what they would say.
My controlling would definitely be the thing to work on. I think they know I'm a very heart-centered person, and I think, yeah, that would be the one. But we'll have to meet for coffee and find out if that's true.
I will. I lived in Portugal for 5 years before moving to England. So I've been in Lisbon like thousands of times, and I've been in Portugal as well a lot since I back. So next time when I come to Lisbon, I'm gonna have this coffee. Okay.
We catch you in London, but the coffee's better in Lisbon, though. To be fair, but we'll see you in London.
Okay, we can have a coffee. Okay, we can have in Lisbon. You can have like the pastel de nata, as you know very well, with the coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Uma bicchiere pastel de nata.
And in London, we can have a cider or a pint or something. Let's play now, Richie and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay.
But before you ask me the question, tell me so far, what's your favorite Portuguese word?
Oh, there we go. Favorite Portuguese word. Amor.
Ooh. Okay, Rich, you can ask me a question now.
Who at your ideal dinner party would be sat at the table? 4 people.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, 4 people with me to have a dinner for one night.
Dead or alive?
Okay, the first person that comes to your mind that I'd love to be in that table is Barack Obama. Yeah, Barack Obama. I'd love him to be at the table. Second person, right? Actually, you know what? I would like to put the table right now, King Charles, just to see what's going on in his, his mind or his emotion right now with the coronation in a few weeks' time. Imagine. I would love to have a seat and see, you know what I mean, what's going on, what's the plan, what's the emotions about it.
Yeah.
Third person, okay, third person. Right, I'm gonna go to Brazil. Okay, I'm gonna take someone from Brazil. There is I'm sure your partner, he knows her. Her name is Xuxa. She's a Brazilian entertainer for kids in the 80s. All my generation in the 80s, we grew up with her. She's the biggest idol. Xuxa, Xuxa. So I'd love to put, So Barack Obama, King Charles, Xuxa, and the last. And Xuxa, yeah. And the last person, let me see someone who. Okay, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna put in this table as well Madonna, and I'll tell you why. Yeah, I'll tell you why I'll put Madonna. I think now with this tour happening right now around the world, the celebration tour. So I'll put those people around because I love the question. I'll tell you why. Because all those people right now, they are going through something interesting in their lives. For example, Shusha just turned 60 now. Yeah, so it was like she did a cruise ship. She was singing her best hits. King Charles, of course, he's going to be coronation. Madonna doing this celebration tour around the world, you know what I mean? Might be her last tour, you never know. And Barack Obama, just because it's Barack Obama, just imagine sit down with Barack Obama to have a meal. Oh my God, that would be something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So imagine having this meal with those people around. Oh my God. Actually, I'll be like a little person there, just sit there, like just listen to those amazing, beautiful people, expressing themselves. But I'd love to have those people in a table. It would be interesting to see, you know what I mean? The contrast between people, different ways that they've been expressing themselves or they've been living a life. And it'll be amazing to see what's going to come out of this dinner, special dinner. I love the question. Wow, amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Richie, did you enjoy the interview?
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks for being. I do know what I like the most about the Magic Box. I have so many people around the world on the show, and I love when someone shares something that I was expecting. My goodness, I was expecting you to share something so personal and so powerful in your life. And I'm so grateful that you share that because, again, you never know. You might have people maybe facing the same challenge, not just that. Maybe a friend or maybe a family member, or maybe it can happen. You never know. And just see someone now talking so open about and here standing, healthy and sharing that. I think it's something that I feel very grateful when it happened because, we are vulnerable. You never know. Sometimes we can go down and sometimes can come up, even more than we were before and find a different path in your life like you do. You just found a different path and now you are living the best of your life. So thanks so much for being so open and sharing that.
My pleasure.
Before you go, if you can share a positive message or something that you live by.
Well, I'm going to go with this too shall pass. Always remember that. And I think it was Maya Angelou, who is a phenomenal writer, poet, speaker. And she said, even the worst storms run out of rain. Or, and this is true. Everything will pass. It might be freaking awful at the time, but hold in there. Because at some point it's going to pass, and even when we're stuck in depression, anxiety, and stuff, it will pass at some point. And I think holding that faith that this too shall pass can take somebody very far.
And it's so true because if we analyze our life, we've been through tough times, and it passed. We are here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you think properly, it's a reason. It passed. Now we are here, and it's gonna come up other challenges as well. But it will pass as well.
And if I could expand on that, because this is actually exactly what you've just said, but you know, we are 100% successful. If you are alive in this moment, you are 100% successful. You've survived everything life has thrown at you, and you're alive right now. You are 100% successful. And if you can keep that alongside that, this too shall pass, you've got it sussed.
Let's be successful for a very long time.
Exactly. Exactly.
Take care, Richie, and I see you sometime in Lisbon, in London.
Big
Okay?
love. Thank you.
Okay?
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.